Mindset AI presents Brothers of Ytheon, a legacy of sacrifice. Dawn seldom broke gently over Ytheon anymore. The sky, once a tapestry of gold and rose, now bore the grey scars of smoke and distant bombardment. Still, on mornings like this one, Alluin stood on the open deck of Field Hospital 3 and tried to remember what peace had felt like. He had just finished another night shift, what passed for night in a world lit by tracer fire, when the sound of boots approached. Light, quick steps. Elven.
Aubron General Command wants you in Ward B. Another unit brought in casualties from the Iron Flats. Heavy fighting.
The doctor closed his eyes briefly.
Which unit?
Unit 12, sir.
His heart tightened. Unit 12 was his brother's. Aubron had always been the steadier of the two of them. Broad-shouldered, unshakable, a soldier forged by duty. Alluin had chosen medicine, believing that in a world filled with weapons, someone needed to stitch the pieces back together. Yet here they both stood, in the same war, facing the same ancient enemy, the Saurians, reptilian warriors whose cities of metal rose along the burning southern horizon. As Alluin entered Ward B, the familiar tang of antiseptic and blood enveloped him. Medics rushed around, stabilizing the newest arrivals. Then he saw her. Shael, Aubron's wife, her armor dented, her braid frayed, but her stance unbroken, helped guide a wounded soldier onto a cot. He spotted him, and her stern expression softened for a heartbeat. She nodded.
Alluin. Aubron's fine. He's outside overseeing the rest of the squad.
For the first time since the lieutenant had summoned him, Alluin allowed himself to breathe freely.
What happened?
We were holding the flats. Saurian shock troops swept in from the ridgeline, new weapons, plasma-based, like nothing we've seen.
Just then, Aubron sprinted through the blast shelter doors, moments before the first strike hit. The ground quaked, dust raining from the ceiling. Shael took cover at his side, gripping his arm.
We're being targeted. They've triangulated the field hospital.
We have wounded who can't be moved.
Another explosion boomed, closer this time.
We need a plan. Quickly.
Aubron and Alluin exchanged the kind of look forged over a lifetime, not needing words, only trust.
Evacuate the mobile cases first. I'll stay behind with those who can still be stabilized for transport.
You're not staying alone.
You're a squad captain. You're needed out there. I'm needed here.
Then I'm staying with him.
Aubron's jaw tightened, but he nodded, eyes dark with fear and pride.
I'll secure the route.
Aubron gave his brother one last hard look, then nodded sharply and strode out of the shelter.
Unit 12, on me. We're pushing toward the ridge. Trace the artillery line and neutralize it.
Boots thundered behind him as his soldiers fell into formation. Their modern rifles, sleek, rune-etched weapons that blended elven craftsmanship with industrial precision, gleamed under the flickering emergency lights. Aubron vaulted over fallen debris and into the blasted doorway, the air thick with grit and smoke. He felt his pulse sharpen. This was the path he knew, the push forward, the clarity of purpose. The ridge loomed ahead, lit intermittently by muzzle flashes.
Contact expected, safety off.
The first artillery shell screamed overhead. Inside the collapsing shelter, Alluin and Shael worked at a relentless pace. The ground trembled with each detonation, dust drifting down like dull grey snow. Medics rushed around them, lifting stretchers, stabilizing bleeding wounds, whispering encouragement that sounded thin beneath the booming world outside. A young medic struggled to lift an unconscious elf soldier whose legs were shattered.
Doctor, this one's borderline.
Keep pressure on the tourniquet. Shael, help me with his spine brace.
She moved immediately, bracing the soldier's head while Alluin slid the rigid plate beneath him. Another shell erupted somewhere to the east, the shockwave rolling through the floor like thunder underwater. The elf on the cot whimpered.
You're all right. We've got you. Stay with us.
Alluin tightened the final strap.
Get him to carrier 5. Go.
The medic sprinted off with the stretcher team.
How many left?
Too many. But we'll move everyone we can.
As if the world refused to grant them even a second of breath, a harsher roar cracked the air, the unmistakable chatter of automatic gunfire. Shael froze, eyes wide.
They've engaged.
Up on the ridge, Aubron and his soldiers sprinted between craters, hugging the remnants of a trench line. Gunfire sparkled in staccato bursts ahead. Saurian silhouettes advanced, tall, armor-plated figures with glowing visors and plasma rifles that hissed like venom.
Eyes up. Take firing positions.
Unit 12 fanned out, sliding behind the broken remnants of armored transport husks. Aubron knelt beside a downed radio tower, peering through the scope. He could see the enemy emplacement now, the artillery crew, reptilian forms hunched over a tri-barreled launcher.
They're reloading. If they fire again...
He didn't finish. He didn't need to. A heavy shell detonated dangerously close behind them, a reminder of what failure meant. Aubron raised his hand.
Fire!
The ridge erupted in the crack thunder of elven rifles. Back in the camp, the ground shook with a force that nearly threw Alluin from his feet. A medcart toppled, instruments clattered across the floor. Shael caught herself on a cot.
Aubron!
He's alive, Shael. He has to be. Help me with the next one.
They rushed to a soldier whose breathing was ragged. Alluin checked the monitor. Oxygen low, blood pressure dropping.
We need to get him out now.
He won't survive the trip without stabilizers.
And he won't survive staying here. We'll ride with him. I can monitor.
Shael nodded, the argument slipping away beneath urgency. Together, they lifted him onto a hover gurney as another shell burst outside the shelter, spraying shards of metal across the entrance. Medics winced, but didn't slow.
All units, fall back to the evac point. Aubron's squad is holding the ridge, but we don't know for how long.
On the ridge, Aubron ducked behind cover as a plasma bolt scorched past his head. The heat singed his cheek.
Sir, the left flank is pushing.
I see them.
Aubron fired 3 precise shots, dropping 2 Saurians and forcing the rest into cover. His unit was holding, for now. But the artillery crew was rearming. Aubron tapped his comm.
Central Command, this is Captain Aubron. Enemy artillery is active and seconds from another volley. We need air support.
Aubron cursed under his breath. Then he glanced back toward the distant medical shelter, toward Alluin and Shael. He could not, would not, let another shell land there.
Unit 12, we're pushing forward. Take out that launcher before they fire.
And with a battle cry more ancient than the machines around them, Aubron and his team surged from cover and charged into the firestorm. The elven soldiers advanced in short bursts, ducking behind twisted metal and torn earth as plasma bolts carved glowing gouges through the trench. The Saurians were pressing hard, harder than any prior engagement. Their rifles howled like beasts, and their heavy gunners swept the ridge with arcs of searing light. Sergeant Ryden shielded two of his comrades behind a half-collapsed barricade.
Captain, we can't hold this position much longer.
We don't need much longer. Just hold.
Aubron reloaded with practiced speed. He rose from cover, fired a controlled burst, dropped another advancing Saurian, and ducked back down as a bolt slammed into the stone, just above him, showering sparks across his armor. The artillery crew was still preparing their next shot. Too close, too soon. Aubron tapped his comm again.
Evacuation status?
Last carrier's loading now. We're minutes out. Just hold a little longer.
Minutes. He could give them minutes, even if it killed him. Another barrage of enemy gunfire hammered the ridge. Private Valen screamed as plasma clipped his shoulder, spinning him to the ground.
I've got him!
Ryden dragged him behind cover. Aubron didn't hesitate. He sprinted forward into open ground, drawing fire away from his wounded soldiers, his own rifle blazing. Every movement was purposeful, every step chosen. This was why he had trained, why he had fought, why he had sworn the oaths he carried like chains around his heart. He reached the lip of the ridge, just as the artillery crew completed the loading sequence.
Oh no, you don't.
He fired 1, 2, 3 precise shots. The artillery operators staggered back, falling against the launcher controls. But the final shot never landed. A burning bolt struck Aubron in the side. It felt like being hit by a falling star. White heat tearing through armor, tearing through flesh. His breath punched out of him. He stumbled, half kneeling, smoke curling from the blackened wound. Anguished voices cried behind him in shock and horror. Aubron forced himself upright. If he fell now, the launcher would fire. The camp, Alluin, Shael, the wounded, would be obliterated. He raised his rifle again, gritting through the agony. Another shot rang out, this one from Sergeant Ryden, who had sprinted to the ridge, sliding into place beside him. Together, they fired as one. The remaining Saurians fell. The ridge fell quiet. The artillery launcher died with a flicker of sparks. Aubron, however, did not collapse. Not yet. Instead, he turned toward his unit, breath ragged, vision dimming at the edges.
Hold this ridge until the last carrier leaves.
Sir, you're bleeding out!
Not now, just hold.
The last evacuation carrier lifted from the makeshift landing zone, its engines humming, dust swirling in spirals through the broken air. Alluin, pale and shaking, watched it ascend, then looked down at the blood on his hands. Shael stood at his shoulder, face streaked with ash and tears she refused to shed.
Aubron will meet us at the fallback point.
A slight tremor in her voice betrayed the hope she clung to. Before Alluin could answer, the carrier pilot called back from the cockpit, urgency tightening his tone.
Dr. Alluin, urgent report from the ridge. It's your brother.
Alluin's stomach dropped.
What about him?
He's alive, but he's been hit bad. They're bringing him to the new medical base now.
Shael closed her eyes. Alluin sat heavily, gripping the metal rails of the transport, as if they were the only thing keeping him tethered to the world. Aubron had held the ridge. He had saved them all. But as the carrier raced toward the new medical base, and medics prepared for an emergency trauma intake, Alluin felt the truth settling on him like frost. His brother had paid for that victory with more than blood. He might have paid with his life. The new medical base was quieter than the battlefield, but only because its chaos was contained, boiled down to urgent voices, hissing respirators, and the steady, merciless ticking of life monitors. When they brought Aubron in, Alluin saw at once that the wound was fatal. Plasma had torn through flesh, bone, and part of Aubron's lung. Even elven resilience, legendary, stubborn, could not pull him back from the brink. His armor was charred, his skin pale with blood loss, every breath a shuddering rasp.
Alluin, brother, they told me you made it. Shael too?
Alluin swallowed hard.
She's safe. She's on the next transport.
The lie was small, temporary, merciful.
We're going to help you. Just stay awake.
He began working with a ferocity he had never felt before, hands trembling, mind racing through every advanced technique he knew. But deep inside, he already knew the truth. He was not trying to save Aubron's life. He was trying to give him time. Aubron reached weakly for his arm.
Stop. Stop, Alluin.
Don't you dare. Just hold on.
Aubron coughed, blood flecking his lips.
Just listen to me.
Alluin froze, breath tight.
Aubron? No!
Aubron's eyes found him, still the same clear, steady color they had shared since childhood.
Please, my girls. Mariel, Sindra, Kia.
You'll see them again. Just hold on.
Aubron shook his head faintly.
No, you know I won't, and that's why I need you to listen.
Alluin's hands slowly lowered. Aubron exhaled, a trembling sound.
Promise me, you'll take them in, raise them, love them as your own. Al, promise me.
Alluin felt something inside him crack. Not the sharp break of bone, something deeper, heavier. The kind of pain only family could inflict.
I promise.
Aubron's eyes softened. Relief, gratitude, love.
Tell Shael, I'm proud of her. Keep the girls safe from all of this.
His breathing grew shallower, more desperate. Alluin lifted his hand, gripping it tightly.
I'm here, brother. I'm right here.
Aubron's final breath came softly, like a sigh carried off by the wind. His spirit slipped away. Alluin bowed his head over his brother's still hand and let the grief take him. Shael arrived at the front before anyone could tell her the truth. She fought like a storm given flesh, fearless, relentless, almost frightening in her resolve. None could approach her in that state. None could take her weapons from her hands. When the Saurians launched a counter-offensive on the northern trenches, she volunteered for the vanguard. The battle raged for hours. The report reached the base the next morning. Shael had not returned. A recovery team found her body in a bomb-carved ditch, surrounded by fallen Saurians. Her weapon was still in her hand. Her expression was peaceful, as if she had simply chosen her moment to join Aubron. When Alluin saw her lifeless form laid out on the examination table, the grief that had barely begun to settle tore open again. But he did not break. Instead, he closed her eyes gently, whispering a silent farewell.
Journey forth in peace, flame of Ytheon. Your beloved husband awaits you in that far green country.
The elves of Ytheon gathered in their thousands as the sun dipped below the tree line. The great banners of the Republic were lowered to half-mast, and the choirs sang ancient laments for warriors who had given everything. Aubron and Shael lay side by side in silver-lined caskets, surrounded by white flowers and their helmets placed reverently upon their chests. Meriel, Sindra, and little Kea stood together, fragile and trembling. Meriel, only 12, tried to hold the younger two steady, though her own face was blotched from crying. Alluin stood behind them, a steadying presence, his grief held carefully behind a soldier's composure. Dignitaries spoke, commanders saluted, soldiers filed past, laying tokens of honor beside the caskets. Even the wind seemed to move more slowly, as if the world itself mourned. Finally, Alluin stepped forward to the podium. He looked over the crowd, over the sea of bowed heads, then down to the 3 young girls who had lost everything.
My brother and his wife died protecting us, protecting all of you. They fought not for glory, but for their children and for a future worth living in.
He paused, letting the weight of the moment settle.
And so, to honor them, I am fulfilling my brother's last wish. I am adopting Meriel, Sindra, and Kea. From this day forward, they are my daughters, my family.
A murmur moved through the crowd, soft, warm, approving. The girls turned to him, tears spilling freely now. Meriel ran to him first, burying her face in his uniform. Sindra followed, trembling, and Kea wrapped her small arms around his waist. Alluin held them all, closing his eyes. He had lost a brother and sister, but he had gained 3 daughters. As the sun sank behind the ridge where Aubron had fought his last battle, Alluin made a silent vow. Their sacrifices would not be in vain. He would raise the girls with love, and he would ensure that the world they inherited would be safer than the one that had taken their parents away. Years passed, as years do, even after war. The scars of Ytheon remained etched in its forests and cities, but slowly, carefully, life knitted itself together again. The Saurian threat had been extinguished with the help of the Nalthesian alliance. The skies were no longer lit by tracer fire, but by the soft glow of lantern festivals returning to the streets. Markets reopened, schools filled, homes were rebuilt with hands that once held rifles. Through all of it, Alluin remained the quiet pillar of a once-shattered family. He kept his promise. He raised Meriel, Sindra, and Kea, not simply as their guardian, but as a father, steady, fiercely devoted, and proud. The girls grew in different ways, each carrying a piece of Aubron and Shael within them. Meriel had always been strong, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Even as a child, she had tried to protect her sisters from the world, standing between them and every shadow the war had cast. When she turned 16, she applied to the Cadet Academy. Alluin had known this moment would come. It was in her posture, in her eyes, in the way she visited Aubron and Shael's graves every week, speaking to them quietly before training runs. She stood in front of Alluin on the evening before her entrance exams, dressed in her simple academy whites, hair braided neatly like her mother's once had been.
You don't have to do this for them. They would have wanted you to choose your own life.
I am choosing my life, Ada.
He closed his eyes briefly at the word Ada, meaning dad. It still struck him deeply, beautifully, every time.
Well, then I'm proud of you. More than they will ever know.
Meriel entered the academy with honors. Years later, she would earn her commission as an officer, sharp-witted, compassionate, formidable in the field. Her instructors often commented that she carried her mother's bravery and her father's calm into every scenario.
I carry them both.
Sindra, the middle child, walked a quieter path. Where Meriel was steel and resolve, Sindra was warmth and gentleness. She had spent her childhood visiting the medical wards where Alluin worked, asking endless questions, holding the hands of patients who were lonely or afraid. She was 16 when she told Alluin that she wished to follow in his footsteps.
Are you sure? It's a difficult life.
She smiled, shy but certain.
You saved so many. You saved us. I want to help people like that.
He burst into tears that night, softly, silently, when she went upstairs. Not because he was sad, but because he realized this was what healing truly looked like. Not the stitching of wounds, but the passing on of hope. Sindra entered medical school 2 years later. She excelled in diagnostics and triage. And the first time she walked the halls of the same field hospital where Alluin once fought to save Aubron, she paused, not in fear, but in respect. It was there she vowed that she would someday serve as a symbol of how far Ytheon had come. Kia, the youngest, was only 6 when she lost her parents. Alluin had spent years coaxing her laughter back into the world. She grew into a curious, thoughtful girl with a love for books and animals. She often accompanied Alluin to the infirmary after school, helping organize supplies or reading to recovering soldiers. Everyone adored her. At 13, while helping tend to a patient with a burn wound, she looked up at Alluin with bright, determined eyes.
I think I want to be a nurse, like the ones who helped Mum in the war.
Alluin knelt beside her, touched but cautious.
You're still young, Kia. There's time to decide.
I know, Ada, but I want to help people. It just feels right.
He gently put his hand on her cheek.
Then whatever path you take, I'll be behind you.
And he meant it. Alluin watched them grow with a mixture of pride and melancholy. Pride for who they were becoming, melancholy for the 2 ghosts who should have been there to see it. Every year, on the anniversary of Aubron and Shael's deaths, the 4 of them visited the memorial grove. They laid flowers, told stories, and shared the triumphs and small joys of the past year. One evening, as the sun set through the leaves in shimmering gold, Mariel placed her palm against her mother's stone marker.
We're all right now. Ada made sure of it.
Sindra slipped her hand into Alluin's. Kea leaned her head on his arm. Alluin felt, for the first time in years, that peace had finally come upon them. Not fully, not perfectly, but enough. Aubron and Shael had given their lives to ensure their daughters' futures, and those daughters were building something beautiful from the ruins left behind. If you enjoyed this epic tale, please leave a like and comment. It would really be appreciated.